Yes, hello viewers. A very good evening. Once again, this is Gopal, and I welcome you all to another interesting episode of Learning. And today we have a very special guest with us, and I'm extremely delighted to introduce this extraordinary personality, Professor Kalyan Chakraborty, Director, Kerala School of Mathematics. I welcome you to my channel, sir. I am grateful that you have managed to spare some time for me and my viewers. Uh, uh, it's truly a privilege to have you. Thank you. Thank you so much. And to all the viewers, uh, I would like to I would like you all to know a bit more about Professor Kalyan and his contribution towards the Mathematical Society. So Professor Kalyan joined as a student in 1990 at HRI, Harishchandra Research Institute, India, and he has completed his PhD in the year 1997 and was postdoc at IMSC and at Queen's University, Canada. Later on, he joined as faculty at HRI in 2001, and now he's leading Kerala School of Mathematics as a director. And till now, a professor has published more than 80 research papers, and he has a lot of he has done a lot of PhD supervising and also postdoc students. So, which is a very tremendous contribution towards mathematics. Uh, he has visited multiple universities across the globe, and if I have to list all of them, then it will be a never-ending session. So once again, heartily welcome, Professor. So thank you so much for being with us. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so let me, before you start your thing, let me thank Gopal Rao. I mean, I met him through our SPEAM program, summer program in mathematics here, and he was being introduced to me as a very enthusiastic learner, even though, there are certain difficulties for him, like the circumstantial difficulties, but still I was amazed by his interest in learning advanced mathematics. And I really thank Gopal for taking this initiative to really spread the beauty of mathematics through his videos and through these, these interviews with mathematicians. And I really, am thankful to Gopal for giving me this opportunity.
It's privilege, sir. It's a great privilege for me to have you with us. So I have a few interesting questions for you, Professor. So if you would like to answer those, that would be a great thing for us.
Yeah, so, I'll try to answer honestly whatever my experience over the years, and I hope that will be of some benefit to the budding students, mathematicians, and in science as such.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yes. So my first question would be, what prompted you towards learning mathematics? What was the first thing that you were attracted towards?
Yeah, so I have to really go down to my memory lane, and that's a very good question. And when I go down to the memory lane, I see that mathematics is the subject. When I go back to my school days, is one subject which I never had difficulty. I can say that, that is one thing which I never had to struggle. I never had to really memorize anything. And maybe it is because of some logical thinking, because mathematics is more of logical. And to some extent, as I can tell that I was privileged to get some good teachers. And so that is one subject which I never felt a pressure to really do. Never used to study even before going for exams, and more or less got good scores and pretty comfortable. So I'm happy that still I am into that subject, which was easy for me to understand compared to other subjects. That is the thing that I can answer, that this is the most comfortable subject. If I look at my mark sheets from my school days, this is one subject that has consistent kind of good scores. And I can tell you honestly that never really struggled for that. So that is one thing to choose, that if you are comfortable in subject, and if you can choose that one as your future, then you'll be privileged to do so.
Okay, that was a nice answer, sir. So the second question is, was there someone who helped you to choose this path, and or you did it alone?
Yeah, I mean, as I was telling, it is related to the previous question also. I really was privileged to get a couple of teachers. At least I remember one teacher in my high school days, and her name is Chaya Guha. And I can tell a very nice story to the students for your viewers. And in fact, that is a story, that's a fact, not a story, which really, you won't believe it. So let me share that I was visiting maybe 7-8 years back, first time when I was visiting Paris. So I was invited to Paris 6 for collaborative work with one of my friends is there. So I was there with Professor Dipender Prasad from TIFR. He was also visiting. So we were together, and I was waiting for him at near the Eiffel Tower. He had some other work, so he told me that, Kalyan, you come to Eiffel Tower and we can meet there. So I was waiting there in a bench near the Eiffel Tower, looking at the Eiffel Tower. So then a bus comes, and many Indians, we have these trips, which, especially there are these tours which take the Europe tour and other things. So many people go there. So one bus just comes and stops, and Indians came out, and when you are in foreign country, you see Indians, you feel good that your countrymen you are meeting. And then I found that they are speaking Bengali. So I was even more amazed. Then one lady comes and sits next to my bench, little bit oldish lady. And then I thought that she's Bengali. So I just started interacting with her, that, are you Bengali? She said, yes. I mean, from the sari and all other things, I can see that she's a Bengali. We started chatting, and she asked me that, what are you doing here? Then I told that, I'm visiting Paris 6. What do you do? I said, I do some mathematics. Then she said, I was also a mathematics teacher. Then the story started from there. And then finally it boils down, she's the same teacher whom I'm talking about, that Madam Chaya. And then, it's like tears kind of thing. That she was telling that, Kalyan, I mean, so I used to be one of her favorite students, and she used to be one of my favorite teacher also. So it's kind of amazing. After that, we never met. After my school, I left. And it is in Europe, in France, that we are meeting. And she was so happy that, Kalyan, I taught you mathematics. And today you are visiting one of the most prestigious university in the world to talk about your research. So, this is one teacher that I would really tell that, she always encouraged me that, Kalyan, mathematics seems to be natural to you. Like, you can think about these solutions and the problems you can solve. So then similarly, in my university days, I got a couple of teachers that was more mature, because MSc days, who really ignited kind of this, the logical sense in mathematics, and told me that, you have this thing to take up mathematics for your advanced studies. And so these are few of them that I can remember who have prompted me to really think about taking up a career in mathematics.
So it was so motivating, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean,
Thank you for sharing.
That is something which nobody will believe, but it's a fact, I can tell you.
So the next question is, how was your childhood learning mathematics, and do you have any strong background, like any family members who were teachers or professors somewhere?
Yeah, I mean, not that in my direct family, it was not there, but from my maternal side, if I see that some of my maternal brothers, they were, they studied from IIT Kharagpur, and they did very well and all. So academic background was there. I mean, not from my father's side, but from my mother's side, it's always there. And I thought that that is the kind of line that I would take up. But mathematics, no. I mean, I'm the first in my family that took up mathematics as a profession.
And you are doing great, sir.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Gopal.
So one more question next is, how young Professor Kalyan was during his school days? Which subject was tough for him at that time?
Yeah, I mean that's a very nice question. That the tough. I still remember biology. I mean,
Okay.
I can tell you that for why, because I really struggled to do those cells, and and I had to really memorize. Like I never liked go to the laboratory and cut those frog and other things. Those days that used to be one of the lab work, and somehow I used to pray that I should pass. That was optional in my graduation. So I had to take biology because science means the biology will be either you take this side, then biology. Those days, not many options were there. Physics, chemistry, mathematics, and then take biology as your optional subject. And you have to pass, by the way. So, I mean, I really struggled, I can tell you. That is, the drawing the shells, it will take long time for me to let. Some people can do it effortlessly. They say that, what's the problem? And why can't you draw it? But that is one subject. Like chemistry, I used to like. Physics, of course, half of it is mathematics.
Exactly.
And but biology, I really struggle. If you have to ask me.
Okay. Okay. So the next question is: have you ever written IIT JEE's exam, or have you ever thought of like giving this exam?
Yeah, I mean that again. Honestly, I have to say that I never thought about it, and because. I don't know. I mean, somehow it happened that I've never given IIT JEE. Maybe I thought I will never pass. That's a possibility. And, I think I can tell you another thing, which, one thing that never, ever I had a tuition. So, even now, I'm a strong believer that, this we are kind of a thing. So, I used to see that people go to for various coaching centers, spends lots of money, and then how they struggle and all. If they don't pass IIT JEE, there is a kind of feeling that you are inferior. And so I never liked that one, even from my younger days. Now I'm a strong, that, the children should not be really pushed through that kind of a system. And so I have really not given ever this IIT JEE.
So even I also was afraid of this thing when I was in class 12. I've also thought of like giving, but later on, I thought it should be not my case because I didn't got so much good teachers in my school days. Like I had a few, but when it come to class 12, then there was a trouble. In Kharagpur, it was very less access to these kind of studies. Uh, Still, IT is there in Kharagpur, but no one was selected directly learning after class 12. They has to take some special kind of coaching, and this was a trouble. And still, it is a trouble here in Kharagpur. I feel personally like this. Yeah,
No, it's
still,
everywhere, Gopal. I mean, I've seen students struggle. They go to all these coaching centers. Parents are so tensed. They take loan and other things to this. For what? I mean, we are in a generation where, there are plenty of the children are good. Every children is good in, every
yeah,
child is good in some aspect of,
some
and there
special
is
thing. Yeah.
encouragement. There is a good profession waiting in every direction, whether you can, even if you can make some, painting, you are good in, pottery or whatever it is. I mean, we have to encourage the students not to push. I know many students who are, went through this JEE thing. They are engineer now. They are in various places. They are posted, and they are so frustrated already in the beginning. But they tell me, sir, there is no challenges. There are no challenges. They are very good. You have to give them challenges. You have to challenge them, and the challenging thing is no more there. They are in various thing and routine job. They do it at very young age itself. And they could have, that is one part that India really miss. And as you can see, the innovations and other things are very less in India. I mean, even now, whatever we want to do, we have to take it from, we have these IITs and all are for the existence for last 70 years. And, we are still far, far behind from even China, far behind from China, whether it is a fast train, whether it is launching rockets and all. We are talking about going to moon. China, my friends, they smile. She was so much behind. Russia, China, America, they have done it long, long back. China has left all of us behind. They never push for engineering or doctorate. They try to find out from the younger age the child is good in what, whether it is table tennis or football or basketball or in studies, in teaching, and they encourage the student to that direction. That is a long way off, but I really wrote an article in some thing that, about, I feel bad when I go to this developed nation, I see the children, how they enjoy, Gopal. And I have met many, many Indian families. The children don't want to come back to India, They say that these exams, this kind of pushing, and they should be nature. Then only the creative thing comes. If you start pushing now, even for a painting, they have a coaching class. They want to play badminton. Their parents want them to compete in the thing. So they have to go for a camp where there is a routine. Once you put them into a routine, then the natural things don't flourish. Unfortunately for us, that very few parents, they understand that one, that we have to encourage. We have to try to find out. Our job is to really to find out in what my child is good at, instead of pushing our own ideas to them. So really not given, and I am in strong opposition of this. I'm not against IIT JEE, but you try to find out whether your student is good, wants to take up technology, science, technology and other things, then only they will flourish. Not for getting a plum job, People are well off now, most of the people. I'm telling you, you'll be surprised, Gopal, that most of these IITs, these students who are graduating from IIT, they never teach in IITs. It is from other inferior engineering like NITs and all. They come and they teach there, and the students are much better than that. The IIT, they are really good students.
Means the professors who are teaching in IITs are not from IITs. You're saying this?
That's what I'm saying. No, because they don't take up. They don't do research, most of them. They take up, they do an MTech and
they move somewhere else. Okay, doing some job.
Corporate sectors, and they grab them, and then they are, doing their job, basically. Money is there, certainly. Money is also there in research. Why not? I mean, look at the awards and all that we have. So we have to really encourage our children to take up what they're good at it. That's my thing. They are nothing, now everything is good. I can tell you, Canada, when you pointed out, I've seen at that time when I was doing postdoc, a student can switch from engineering to economics. From doctorate, supposing it's not going very well, they can come back to mathematics.
Okay, there is one.
So no profession is glorified. No profession is glorified. Every profession has equal weightage in the society. Okay. Then only a society can improve, and we can tell that if you are good in caricature, or if you are good in animation, or even pottery or painting or anything like that, take up that profession. If you speak well, take up that. If you are good in acting and other things, take up acting. But they do it. That's why the children are enjoy that, and the life is much better there. And the children are the younger, they are the prospect of this thing. And India is still far away from this thing.
So I request all the parents and all the teachers and all the viewers and the students to make note of all these important points which a professor has discussed. And it's so valuable to listening to you, sir. So I have few more questions left.
Sure. I mean, I really, any forum, whether I have to, because I really feel bad about our children. I wrote that one. I see their bag, the weight of their bag.
I can see that I've been teaching since last 12 years in schools and in my society. There are a lot of students who are struggling with mathematics. Maybe they are good at some other, but still till class 10 they have to study this subject.
I'll come to that one. There's a question for you is there. Yes, I really want to talk about that one.
So my next question would be, Why did you thought of doing BSc maths, and was college maths taught good enough when you were there in college?
Yeah, in this context, I can tell you that in our time, there were not so many colleges and, not so many universities were there. I can tell you my university, I studied from Bardhaman University. Now there are, so in the whole district of Bardhaman, from there was only one university. And it's not that everybody has to go for higher education. You see, how many MScs, master degrees that we are producing? There is public money in the university that we are putting in, and where are they going? I mean, if you let's take that you are doing advanced study, then you are coming down and doing a job which a graduate can do it. Then it's a wastage for you, wastage for the kind of support that system, the kind of all these universities are government pumps in a lot of money to pay salary and all. So I am really not really for of that higher education is for everybody. People who are, I mean, it's not that everybody has to do a master degree or a thing. Only if you are motivated really, then take up. But that's what happens in the developed nation. They take up something after graduation. If they're good at something else, they will take that skill forward, and then they do well. They look, once I am an MSc pass and I become a bus conductor, or I'm doing a job in, let's say, a bank as a clerk, then my master degree is wasted. And the graduation was enough to really get that job done. So now there are plenty of these universities in Bardhaman district itself. Many people are doing this master's degree. No one takes a note. Where are they going? What are they doing? I mean, universities for what? It's not just, you are just creating human resources, not that good resources, I would say. I'll come to that one. And there is no note what they are doing. They get frustrated, they get depressed that I have a master degree and I have to apply for a job, which is graduation is enough for that. And only I remember in mathematics department, we used to have 45 students. The whole district of Bardhaman, only 45 students will get a chance to do master degree in mathematics. So every year,
really
that was the intake. And so you can obviously expect the teachers were there. They were really, good teachers. I would say that, my college, if I look back, my graduation, my BSc and all, we got really some of them teaching calculus, teaching, linear algebra and this, basic analysis and all. They were very good. And especially university teachers were very good. I see the university system, how it is deteriorated now. And I go and visit many of these universities in my own state. And we had really very good teachers during those days. And that is one of the things that, making so many universities, telling public that, we are opening up the higher education. But then what? When you are opening up the higher education, but then where are the jobs?
Exactly.
So I think we really had better teachers at that time. The answer I will tell you. Who could motivate us to really take up, because we thought that once we are doing an MSc, it's kind of natural for us to look for advanced study from there. And I'm not telling a school job is very, very difficult. I really have a lot of admiration for you and all the teachers, Gopal, that you people are far less privileged, but you are doing a wonderful job, I will say. And it's a tough job. It's really a tough job. But then in the higher level, when you go up, we need to take an accountability, which UGC is doing right now. That, what is the output that is coming out and what are they doing? So my answer to that, really, we had good teachers those days.
Thank you for the appreciation to all the teachers in the school.
Yeah, I have real admiration for all the teachers.
Thank you. From you, if it is these words, then we are up to the sky.
No. I mean, that's for sure. I mean, we are far more privileged. And if I'm not able to do my research, I keep telling my students, then I'm really not doing my job. Your job is to really teach the students, to motivate them, and you are overloaded with your job, all of you. And I think, with this kind of such less privileges that we know our teachers have, And I think you are doing a wonderful job.
Once again, thank you for this. So the next question is how HRI, Harishchandra Research Institute, helped you to establish your journey. Also, what is one of the area in mathematics which you like the most?
Yeah, so I can tell you that I started my journey towards PhD from IMSC, Institute of Mathematical Sciences, and after my MSc, I got selected there, and then I was working with. I can tell you, Professor Adhikari, Sukumar Adhikari, and Professor Ramakrishnan. So they shifted to HRI, and HRI was at that time was known as Mehta Research Institute, MRI, and it was just on the formation stage, like what we are having at KSM right now. So, in fact, I am the first PhD student from Harishchandra Research Institute.
Okay.
And then I moved to Harishchandra Research Institute. And then first, when I came to IMSC, I came to know that, the understanding that I had in mathematics from my university to college level is not enough. Not enough in the sense that, there are lots of holes. And one thing I can tell you that, language was also a problem. I was not proficient, not even nothing used to come out in English. And I was not good in Hindi also. Those days in Chennai, Hindi was also not very popular. It was difficult. So English was the only language. And I had real difficulty initially. And because I was always taught, in the local language school, and English was never that thing for me. So it took time for me. And then, but mathematics part, which you are asking, I saw that I have to really fill up my gaps. I worked and worked, tried to fill up, and then today where I am here. So possible for everybody. And subject-wise, if you ask me, initially when I started, I had real fascination for analysis, like functional analysis. And because that was the background that from Bardhaman University that I got.
Exactly.
There was no number theory. But number theory,
even in
which,
Bengal, we think we have the analysis as the basic part.
Yeah,
in
analysis
Bengal.
is there everywhere.
Because we don't have number theory here in Bengal. South India has that taste of mathematics. Southern India has that taste.
Yeah, right. So most of the places you will see that there is a flourishing thing is there, like for Jadavpur University, if we talk about presidency, especially Jadavpur University. Of course, ISI is there, ISI Kolkata. Then most of the universities.
Even Ramakrishna Mission, that one,
RKBM,
Professor Sukumar is there, no?
there.
Professor Sukumar, as you were saying.
Professor Sukumar Adhikari is the mentor there at the head. So then I sort of got interested in number theory. Now, let me tell you, number theory as such, it is basically analysis and algebra together. And one of your question will be later coming that how you want to teach children. So at that point, I'll try to talk a little bit about numbers, that how it can be helpful. So when I started doing number theory, it was difficult because absolutely there was no background and never thought about numbers, basically. I mean, thought about analysis, topology, algebra, but numbers, it was never told to us that, or we learned that, the numbers are interesting and there are many, many interesting questions that one can ask. So that time when I went to IMSc Math Science, so I met Professor Ramakrishnan, and they were actually very young at that time. Both of them were postdoctoral fellows, in fact, at that thing. Then Professor Adhikari joined as a faculty scientist at Harishchandra Research Institute. Professor Ramakrishna also joined later. Then I shifted there. And they are the motivator, I would say, for me to come to number theory. And as I told you, number theory is basically a conjunction of analysis and algebra. But the questions are more into numbers. So number theory, certainly, I will tell you that, a subject that I love the most now.
So even presently, people know you for this particular
yes, I mean, the questions are
giant recognition about this subject. You have a popular name in this field.
Thanks, Gopal. I mean, nice to know that. I mean, I'm really flattered, I would say, for that. If I have made any, even if it is so small contribution towards making number theory popular, I think that I have done my job.
you.